Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win, or you find a way to lose. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter if you want to. And leave that donation. So what we got, a Mexican and a Cuban fighter? You know, I live in Texas. Leave that donation for a burrito, some carne asada, wash it down with some horacha, and give me some of that, well, we call it something different, but it's called dulce something, man, but it's like cake with condensed milk and shit. Anyway, it tastes good. Leave that money for that. I'm going to need about $50 for that, all right? Anyway, man, the wear and tear on David Benavidez is something that came up during the live today. And you know what? That is something that should be a real concern. David Benavidez has been fighting professional fighters. Although he wasn't pro, he was only 15 years old. But since age 15, he has been putting in some serious work and sparring in camps. And not just your regular type sparring. They're not just working to get better. And he'll tell you, they're wars, they're fights. And when you think about that, although he's, 27 years old? 15 to 27, 12 years of hard-fought wars. Makes you wonder, at what point is that wear and tear going to show up? Now, there was a guy named Coach Eddie who jumped on the live, and he mentioned, look, the wear and tear probably showing up already. If you listen to David Benavidez, both of his hands were injured going into the fight against Gvozdyk, and he had to get stitches on his eye. And when you think about that, those are signs of the body breaking down. And you know what? It's a very interesting point. So when he goes into the fight this weekend against David Morrell, you know what? There are going to be some keys to victory that David Morrell is going to need in order to win that fight. But aside from the keys to victory, David Morrell, he just may walk into a situation where his jab is enough to keep Benavidez honest, and throwing that straight left to the chest and then coming back with that right hook upstairs could be the money combination that gets him not just a victory over Benavidez, but gets him a knockout victory. Now, Benavidez and what's his name, Morrell, Southpaw versus orthodox. I mean, most of you who follow this channel, follow boxing, y'all know that shit comes down to the foot fight. You can have all the IQ in the world, but if you ain't winning the foot fight, more than likely, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose that battle or come out on the bad end of the short end of the stick. But it's like I was mentioning, if Benavidez doesn't recognize that his left foot is on the inside of Morrell's right foot, he's going to be right in line for that straight left hand. The problem is that if he doesn't time it right or he misses, he can get countered by the right hook of Benavidez. But if he just throws it at his chest, and if Benavidez is moving to Benavidez's left, that means to Morrell's right, and he just throws it at his chest while he's moving, he can freeze him and then immediately come back with the right hook, the same way Zhang did Joe Joyce. Let me see if I can show y'all this. Let me see, because I think I posted it to my Twitter profile. I'm gonna show you what Zhang, what I'm talking about with Zhang. Okay, let me show you this. Where is it? Because I mean, it was classic Southpaw versus orthodox fighter, and somebody not recognizing the foot fight and getting the bing bings put on them. Damn, where is it? I thought I just put it up here, but it's all good. I'm scrolling now looking for while I'm talking to you. Maybe I didn't put it up there. I thought I did, but it's all good. I'm not gonna waste any more time on it. I thought I had it up there, but anyway, when you talk about the keys to victory, I think setting the tone early. Both fighters got to set the tone early, but it's Morrell really who's going to have to set that tone early, man, if he wants to be successful against Benavidez, man. Because we all know when it comes to David Benavidez, he can pick up the pace. And when he picks up the pace and gets in his rhythm, ain't nothing stopping him. So Morrell is going to have to set that tone, put some rounds in the bag, 4 or 5 rounds, and then he's going to have to land some big shots to try to deter David Benavidez. Because the one thing about David Benavidez is he's going to go on a run. He's going to catch his rhythm. And when he does, Morrell's got to at least say, okay, I just lost those 2 or 3 rounds, but I won, 4 or 5 early or 3 or 4 early. And that way he's not totally, behind the power curve going into, rounds 8, 9, and 10, and especially the championship rounds. But if Morrell can land some big shots on Benavidez, slow Benavidez down, because Benavidez is coming at all gas, no brakes. He's agitated. Like, he's mad. He was called a big fat chicken. El Pollo Gordo. El Pollo de Gordo or some shit. But he don't like being called a fat chicken, man. But anyways, he's got to slow him down, possibly hurt him, and not allow Benavidez to get out there to an early lead. The thing is, I saw somebody say, well, Morrell just has to fight on the inside to beat Benavidez. Morrell, the worst thing he can do with that 4-inch reach advantage is try to get on the inside and fight with Benavidez. That is Benavidez's world right there. Like, that's where he's the most comfortable. So set the tone early. Do not fight on the inside. Now, if Morrell can be successful on the inside against Benavidez, then that means Benavidez is a shot fighter. I mean, he just needs to quit, because he can't make 168 anymore is what it sounds like, because mentally he's checked out. He ain't trying to do it. And if he can't win an inside fight against somebody at 175, it's over for him, because he definitely ain't winning from the outside. So, just my opinion. But anyway, Morrell's going to have to stand his ground. We know Benavidez is willing to do it. And for those of you saying he can't stand his ground against Morrell, look, this man's confidence is through the roof for a reason. Latif Coyote, the heavyweight, he's cruiserweight, light heavy or cruiserweight. Anyway, a big, strong African monster back in the day. A lot of you don't even know who he is. I know who he is. He was out here tranquilizing people. Kelly Pavlik, Peter Quillen, Triple G. I mean, that's it. What's Morrell going to do that those guys couldn't do to a 15-year-old David Benavidez? Now this man's 28, I believe, 27 or 28. I just don't think it's going to be an issue unless the wear and tear on Benavidez shows up and Morrell is able to break him down. But I just don't think it, because when they talked about a fighter who's able to break his opponents down, you normally see Benavidez do that. But he wasn't able to do that against Gvozdyk. Gvozdyk started touching him up in the second half of that fight, more towards the end of that fight. 2 more rounds, Benavidez probably would have got stopped. And I'm just being real with you. But it definitely, from just looking at what's in front of us, Morrell has to hold his ground, but it won't be in his best interest to try to come down and match the pace of a guy like a Benavidez. Morrell's going to have to he's going to have to move and hold his ground at points and fight. He doesn't want to run the whole fight because he won't get a decision. But he's going to have to figure out how to approach fighting Benavidez and when to fight and engage and when to move around, because he's got 12 rounds. And you can't do all of one thing for the whole 12. He's going to have to break it up. But anyway, we got to see who's going to be easier to catch. And in my opinion, the person who's going to be easier to catch will be Benavidez, because he's not a guy who floats like a butterfly and stings like a bee. He's going to be right there. And if Morrell can stay behind that powerful jab that he has and use that 4-inch reach, I think Morrell has a good job, man, to control Benavidez, as long as he doesn't run out of stamina, because Morrell has the power and dynamic ability, man, to hold his own in exchanges. Right? It's just he's never exchanged with David Benavidez. That's the problem. Though he certainly doesn't want to make it a habit of doing that throughout any fight, especially this Benavidez fight coming up Saturday, knowing that person who he's doing that with has goddamn dynamite in both hands. So pretty simple. But anyway, some people think Morrell's a stronger puncher of the two. I don't know if I agree with that, man. But I will tell you this: defense, moving your head, is the other thing that they need to do. Morrell likes to block. David Benavidez like to block. They both like to use their gloves, catch shots. They both better move their head this fight if they want to win. But Morrell especially, he can't afford to sit there and think he's just gonna allow Benavidez to tee off on him. Benavidez doesn't throw 1 or 2 shots. He throws combinations. You understand? And if Morrell is there getting hit with those combinations, at some point in time, the Cuban is going to be a Cuban crisis because of the missiles bombing his ass from David Benavidez. And we will see if those punches and combinations from Benavidez can hit their mark. Also, we'll see if those punches from Morrell can hit their mark on Benavidez. And again, it's like it was pointed out during the live. Who's the fresher of the two? Which fighter is fresher? Is it Benavidez or Morrell? I'd have to say Morrell. Benavidez is not a fresher fighter than Morrell. Benavidez has been through a lot of fights at the elite level. I mean, hard sparring against monsters. Morrell, look, he did great as an amateur, but it's a little different in the pro ranks, okay? And he's in there against somebody who's rarely throwing one punch at a time. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Morrell does, especially if Benavidez can cut the ring off and get in close and start to go to the body and go upstairs. I'm looking for Benavidez to throw that quick shot upstairs and tap him, then boom, come to the body. And if he can do stuff like that, I think Benavidez is going to have a good job. But if Morrell can make his head move and make Benavidez pay with big counter punches, that can help to slow the fight down to a pace that I think will benefit Morrell. But, that's easier said than done. But the bottom line is when it comes tomorrow, when it comes to this fight, I just think we need to really talk about the wear and tear on Benavidez and if it shows up tomorrow. Because I'm going to be watching. I'll probably go live for it. Is that wear and tear going to show up? And you just never know. You just never know. Plus, Benavidez don't seem to be all right. I don't think that dude is happy, to be honest with you. Not just with Morrell. He just doesn't seem to be in a happy space. And I feel bad for him because, I know what it's like to go through your little shit, your little mental struggles and shit like that. You know what I mean? And I hate to, even though Ryan Garcia I think is a prick, I don't like to see anybody going through that shit because that shit is rough, man. But hopefully Benavidez got his shit together because I don't want to hear no excuses if Morrell puts the goddamn Cuban bing bings on him. I want to hear that shit. I want to see no crying. He didn't put that on the table before the fight. Don't come bringing it up after. You go into this fight, you say you're 100%. If you get your ass kicked, say you're 100%. If Morrell goes into the fight, said there's no problems. If he gets his ass kicked, don't come out after saying there's problems. Nope. You lose, you lose. Now, if they get robbed, that's a whole nother conversation. But right now, 50-50 fight, but I'm favoring Benavidez. But I just wonder, like Coach Eddie said, is the wear and tear going to show up tomorrow night? And that could benefit Morrell. Keep cool in the breeze.